It's Thursday. Welcome to another Chin-Wag. Okay, so I got this email from a friend and she wrote, I know that Jesus cried when Lazarus died, but is there anything in the Bible that translates into the same emotion from God when we go through the impossible? I never thought of God feeling bad for me when I think I'm failing again. Where in the Bible does God grieve for us? Guess I'm not looking in Old Testament. You know, the interesting thing about the story of Lazarus is that some people would say that he was a relative of Jesus. I think more signs point to that he wasn't a relative of Jesus. And so Jesus here in John chapter 11, we see that over and over it says that Jesus deeply loved Lazarus. And in John 11 chapter 1 says, Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. Over and over throughout Scripture, we see that it says that the Lord loved Lazarus. Now, what's interesting about this story, the reason why Jesus wept, and it's one of the shortest scriptures in the Bible, John 11:35, Jesus wept, and all the Bible quiz students said, yay! But the reason why he wept is, I think what's interesting is that a lot of people, from the disciples to the people that were at the story of Lazarus, wished that Jesus would have been coming in their time. And when he arrived on the scene, they reminded him multiple times that if he would have been a little earlier, then this probably wouldn't have happened. You could have healed him. They've been, I think the people in this story were totally accepting the miracles of Jesus at this time, but they haven't seen someone raised from the dead yet. This is the first, I believe, raising of the dead in Jesus' earthly ministry. And why did Jesus weep? Why did Jesus cry? There's a lot of different reasons for this. This is a scripture I use when I come to funerals for people. You know, was it that Jesus lost a good friend? Was it that he was maybe reviewing his own life and the good times he had with Lazarus? Possibly. What I think may also be the thing going on here too is that at the end of the day, at the end of this scenario, before the miracle was about to happen, people just weren't getting it. And so maybe Jesus wept at that because over and over he's teaching and trying to get people to understand what this thing is all about, and they aren't getting it. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying? Again, a disheartening question when you are a miracle worker. And so Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb in verse 38. It was a cave, that stone laid across the entrance. Take away the stone. And on we read the story, and ultimately Jesus says, Lazarus, come forth. You know what's interesting is that Jesus comes into the scene and said he's not dead, he's only sleeping. And I don't know that he was grieved over the fact that Lazarus was dead, because I think in his eyes, Lazarus wasn't dead. And so I don't know that God actually grieves over us and is sad for us when we go through difficult situations, because we know the testing of our faith creates perseverance. And also, all the things that we go through is redeemable. If God steps into our scenario and interrupts what we're going through in life, it really takes away that whole free will thing, doesn't it? I think what happens is we set up our own scenarios, or life just comes at us, and regardless of what happens, God is the God of resurrection, God is the God of redemption, and can take any of those situations and turn them around again. Was God sad that Lazarus died, and ultimately, at the end of the day, was sad about that Lazarus was dead and now, 6 foot under, actually in a tomb? I don't think so. I think he was sad by the people's reaction to how passionate they were that Jesus, if he would have came earlier, this would have worked out. I think he was moved by the people's compassion as well. They loved Lazarus that much. Hey, what are your thoughts on this scripture? What are your thoughts on this question? I'd love to hear from you. And what situations are you going through right now where you would say, God, I wonder if you're up there grieving for me or sad for me? And are those situations one where it's like, God, I think you're actually here with me, and this situation is going to be redeemed, and it's going to be renewed? Something interesting to think about. Talk to you soon.
I've been working since the break of day.